It's work, sorry.
Morning, sir. Morning, sir. Thank you for coming. The region's quiet though. It's on the wrong side.
Director. No, no, not you. Director prison. Make the director go. Director. Director. You can see people be walking around. You cannot say too much. Yeah, that's the problem.
Anybody bring him up?
Yeah, well. Last, see no one feel out here? No one feel anywhere around? Huh? Yeah, I need him urgent.
I saw one here.
Yeah, but my ex, not same here. My ex, not there. I sat here, not here, not here. Oh, left here, not here. Ali, let them sit right there. Here. Come, Brian. Brian? Yeah, good night. Up and down, man. Up and let me sit on the front side. It might like it. My line.
You want me to sit?
Near to me. Rubber hammer. Remember I said I started the process, not to worry. But I like the message. No, I like the message you sent to me. I can use that. I didn't know the latter part of it. Yeah. There, what? Put Uncle Nam on there 2 minutes to bed. Not a lot of things to discuss. You want to discuss them? Okay. So you wanted to discuss some things with you?
Good morning, everyone. We shall make a start at this point in time. Minister of Home Affairs, Commissioner of Police, Director of Prisons, retired Chief of Staff, Mr. Norman McLean, Major General, retired Commissioner of Police, Mr. Brownell, DSM, representative of GCCI, Mr. Hudson, members of the business community present here today. We have in our midst Mr. Hopkinson and Mr. Hutt, and we have members from the private security Enforcement, Mr. Kirkpatrick and team, DCLA, Head Special Branch, Head Suku, the Guyana Police Force Band, MS, members of the media, officers, all invited here and present today. Welcome to the Officers' Mess Complex. It is a tradition where members of the Guyana Police Force do their Christmas plan presentation to members of the media and to members of the public through this media. While we perform our duties continuously on a 24-hour basis, the dynamics of society, especially in this season, require us to heighten the activities that we perform to ensure that citizens are safe in our country. Critical infrastructures are protected to ensure that the holiday, which is intended to be one of festivity and enjoyment, is so received by all within our jurisdiction. Before you at the head table is our Commissioner of Police Acting, DCLE, the Deputy Commissioner of Law Enforcement, Commander of Usual Police Division 4A, Mr. Markey, Assistant Commissioner, and Traffic Officer, Superintendent Stevens. That will be our panel to do presentations in regard to the respective areas to you here today. Also, what is expected to be occurring simultaneously is that each divisional commanders across the country are required to do their presentations within or related to their divisions. So members of the media and the public and all those who are concerned and our stakeholders who are indeed keen to appreciate what will be police posture for the Christmas season and beyond. Without further ado, but before I go on, just a little bit of information here is that while we have two seasoned presenters, two are going to be making their debut. That is Mr. Mark Reed and the traffic officer. But we're prepared, and you will see a very robust Christmas and traffic plan coming out from these two presenters. I will now invite our first presenter to open the floor with this presentation, Mr. Wendell Blanham, our Deputy Commissioner of Law Enforcement Acting, and Attorney at Law, to open the floor with his presentation on the crime posture.
Good morning. Thank you, Deputy Commissioner of Police, Acting, Mr. Calvin Luthers, who is also an attorney at law, Honorable Minister of Home Affairs, Mr. Robson Den, Commissioner of Police, Mr. Clifton Hicken, Head of Special Branch, Mr. Errol Watts, Retired Commissioner of Police, Mr. Leroy Rommel, Retired Chief of Staff, Mr. Norman McLean, Director of Prison, Mr. Elliott, members of the GCCI, recognize Mr. Boston, members of the GAPSO, recognize the number of security officers smartly dressed in their uniforms this morning, senior as well as junior officers of the Guyana Police Force, special invitees, and last but not least, our distinguished members of the media. My presentation this morning will be twofold. First, I will give a crime overview. Then I will address our Christmas policing posture, which will commence on today's date, the 15th of January 2022, 15th of November 2022, and will conclude on the 15th of January 2023. My presentation covers the following areas. Firstly, a comparative analysis of serious crime for the period the 1st of January to the 30th of November 2022 and 2021. I will also look at the serious crime trends over a 5 and 10-year period, respectively. Secondly, I will address the number of illegal firearms taken out of circulation for the year 2022, followed by our drug interdiction efforts. Fourthly, the effective strategies employed by the Guyana Police Force during the year 2022. Thereafter, I will discuss our challenges that we encountered during the year 2022. Then our Christmas policing posture, as I mentioned before. And lastly, some of the major successes that were achieved by the Guyana Police Force during the current period. Our serious crime analysis. This slide refers to a table showing comparative figures of serious crime for the period 1st to the 30th of November, 1st of January to the 30th of November 2022 and 2021. Overall, there was a decrease by 19% of serious crime, which translates to 331 less serious crimes being recorded for the year 2022 when compared to the previous period. Notably, there was a reasonable decline with regard to break-ins and larceny by 23%, which translates to 134 less serious crimes for the period when compared to the previous period. And we should submit that break-ins and larceny is the most prevalent offense in Guyana. This decreasing trend also was observed for offenses such as murder, rape, and all 4 categories of robberies. There was no kidnapping reports for the current period as well as the previous period. Notwithstanding the aforementioned decreases, we have observed slight increases in the offense of larceny from the person and burglary for the current period when compared to the previous period. This pie chart represents the serious crime figures for the 12 police divisions. The largest portion of the pie belongs to Region 4A, which means that 24% of all the serious crimes occur in that region, followed by Region 4B with 80% and Region 3 with 15%. This is a common trend for Region 4A due to the large number of persons residing in that region, and it's also referred to as a commercial hub. These determinants are important when considering the crime situation in Region 4A. Here is a line graph depicting the serious crimes by years, from the 1st of January to the 13th of November 2022. The data on the slide confirms a downward trend of the total number of serious crimes from the year 2015, and this trend continued all the way to 2022. It is significant to note that there were 2,528 less serious crimes recorded for the year 2022 when compared with the year 2013. Moving on, this slide refers to the number of murders recorded over a 10-year period, from the year 2013 to 2022. The data confirms that there was a fluctuation in the trends, with peak in the year 2020 with 157 murders being recorded in that year. However, there was a steady decline in the number of murders, with 108 murders being recorded in the current year. So far, I wish to draw your attention to the fact that this is the lowest number of murders recorded for this 10-year period. This bar graph depicts the categories of murders over a 5-year period, and I'm going to spend a bit of time on this particular slide. These categories are execution, robbery, domestic, disorderly, unknown, and others. Both disorderly and domestic murders account for more than half of the total murder figures for the period 2018 to 2022. It can be clearly observed that over the 5-year period, disorderly murders have been the most prevalent category of murders recorded in Guyana. There were 368 disorderly murders during this 5-year period. These murders emanated from disorderly conduct and interpersonal violence. The Guyana Police Force intends to launch a vigorous social media campaign in order to highlight and raise more awareness of disorderly conduct and how such conduct can escalate to the loss of life. The Force will also organize conflict resolution seminars within those communities with a high rate of disorderly murders. Finally, this is a step in the right direction, since we will ensure that we tackle the source of the problem. This next slide is a pie chart which shows that Division 4A is also the division with the highest percentage of murders recorded, which is 60%, followed by Police Regional Division 7 and 6 respectively. This line graph clearly shows that the year 2022 has the lowest number of robberies, which translates to 1,029 less robberies when compared to what was recorded in the year 2013. Please bear with us. We will upgrade our technology next year. Thank you for your patience. Moving on, this graph depicts the spatial analysis of gun robberies. Notably, a consistent trend is observed with regard to street robberies, with peaks in all 5 years when compared with other locations where robberies are perpetrated. In reference to the situation regarding trafficking in persons, the year 2022 yielded the lowest reports, 2021, as opposed to the 39 reports recorded in the year 2020. Although the number of cases made amounts to 3 for the year thus far, during this period, the Guyana Police Force Trafficking in Persons Unit partnered with the Ministerial Task Force, Ministry of Human Services and Social Security, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution, and other stakeholders, and undertook a series of campaigns. These campaigns targeted locations where TIP activities are allegedly prevalent. More than 60 such actions were carried out, which is a considerable increase when compared to the previous year. These actions consisted of lectures, distribution of pamphlets, participating in community outreaches, and informing owners of mining camps and other individuals that anyone found guilty of a trafficking in person crime, he or she will be liable to a monetary penalty of imprisonment between 3 to 5 years. Here we have a slide depicting the reports and cases of piracy per year for the period 1st of January 2028 to the 13th of November 2022. And as is clearly shown on the slide, 2022 and 2021, there was no reports of piracy. This offense has progressively been down over the years. With regard to illegal firearms seizure for the year 2022, we have taken into circulation 68 illegal firearms. This bar graph shows the illegal firearms seized by type as per region. Region 4A has the highest rate of illegal firearms seized. Revolvers accounted for the highest type of illegal firearms taken out of circulation during the current reported period, followed by shotguns. Origin of illegal firearms seized for the period. The main origin of illegal firearms is the United States of America, followed by our neighbor Brazil. Regarding Brazil, a significant amount of illegal firearms seized are the Taurus pistols and revolvers. The Taurus weapons are produced and sourced from Brazil. Our investigations have so far revealed that Latin is a main transit point for these weapons, which go largely towards principal destination in Region 40 and other distribution networks across the country. With regard to our drug interdiction efforts, daily inspections were carried out at cargo and passengers terminals, and ports, airports, and border locations where checkpoints and choke points were established. The year 2022 accounted for the seizure of an excess of 293 kilograms of cocaine. This figure also represents the third highest seizure over the 5-year period, with the highest being in the year 2021, which amounted to 536 kilograms of cocaine. Over the last 5 years, the highest cannabis seizure was recorded in the current year, 2022. A total of 761 kilograms of cannabis was seized by the Guyana Police Force. With regard to our eradication efforts, 61.5 acres of cannabis was destroyed for the year 2022. This line graph also shows a downward trend from the year 2020 to 2022. The orange line on this graph represents the number of persons charged with trafficking and possession of cocaine, of cannabis, while the blue line represents the number of persons charged with trafficking and possession of cocaine. We now summarize our statistical data, and as you can see there, the year 2022 we yielded some positive results. Firstly, there were 2,528 less serious crimes recorded for the current year. 108 murders were recorded in the year 2022 thus far. This is the lowest number of murders recorded over a 10-year period. The year 2022 again has the lowest number of robberies, which is 1,029 less robberies when compared to the year 2030. The year 2022 again accounted for the lowest frequency of the offense of rape, enter, and larceny. Continuing with our summary of our statistical data, over the last 5 years, the third highest cocaine seizure was made in the year 2022. Finally, over the last 5 years, the highest cannabis seizure was made in the year 2022. Let's go to our strategies. These are the strategies that were employed by the Guyana Police Force during the year 2022, and these strategies were found to be very effective. Firstly, the use and handling of confidential informants. Informants were very useful to us during our investigations. We conducted a number of successful intelligence-led operations during this period. We were able to deploy our anti-crime patrols at various areas, and I'm speaking about strategic areas. We erected roadblocks, both deliberate and snap at strategic locations also. We continue to rely on the CCTV cameras during our investigations. We have our statistical unit and all the divisional units. We have the divisional base unit, DBMIU, the divisional base management information unit, and that unit has been generating crime analysis, and emanating from those reports, we're able to identify hotspots, and based on the information, we deploy our patrol runs. We continue with our policing. We continue to police our respective communities, and there's an emphasis on safer communities. This initiative is being spearheaded by none other than our Commissioner of Police, Mr. Clifton Hicken. On a weekly basis, he's in almost all the communities in Region 4A, Region 5, and the other divisions. We have community policing groups, neighborhood policing, and recently we have established a number of computer centers, Zara computer centers, in the various divisions. We continue with our formation of youth and scout groups. Moving on to our strategies. For the period 2022, we have performance management of crime, drugs, and other community problems. The Guyana Police Force, we have our monthly performance group meeting, which is chaired by the Commissioner of Police. And also on a monthly basis, we have our DDO's meeting, which is chaired by yours truly. During these meetings, we try to measure our performance to ensure that we are working according to our plans and that we are achieving our targets. We continue with our publication of crime tips and wanted bulletins. And the Guyana Police Force, during this period, continue to collaborate at the local, regional, and international levels. A number of officers benefited immensely this year from both local and overseas training. And lastly, 63 new inductees came into the Criminal Investigation Department during this period. What were some of the challenges we encountered during the year 2022? These challenges are a high rate of recidivism, lack of capacity to conduct DNA and toxicology testing at the Guyana Forensic Laboratory, poor quality of CCTV images obtained at crime scenes, porous borders, and police corruption. This is a very interesting slide. This slide confirms the number of police runs charged for the year 2022. And here's a breakdown of the various offenses. Murder, 1. Corruption, 3. Conspiracy to obstruct the course of justice, 1. obstructing the course of justice 2, assault causing actual bodily harm 1, simple larceny 1, assault 2, larceny by public officer 1, and trafficking in narcotics 2, which gives you a total of 40. I will now move on to our Christmas policing posture this period. We intend to increase deployment of uniform and plainclothes runs by day and night during the festive season. We will increase our deployment of mobile and foot patrols. We will have fully operational police booths, which will be located at the various locations across the 12 police divisions. And ranks who are stationed at these booths, they are required to take reports and to action those reports. Deployment of the Marine, mounted, and canine ranks will continue to publish safety tips by the corporate communication unit, continue to police the crime hotspots. Ranks on patrol will identify suspicious known characters at busy shopping areas, commercial banks, car parks, and night spots, and take action to reduce the opportunity of them committing criminal acts. We will continue to brief members of the business community on how to keep customers safe. Some of the commanders have already initiated this action. Our Christmas policing posture continue. We will maintain a robust presence on the choke points, checkpoints, and border locations during this period. We will increase deployment at the Ogun and Chenjapan International Airports. Ranks will be recalled from their vacation leave on the 4th of December 2022 to supplement our strength. More importantly, our team of ranks from the Major Crimes Investigation Unit will be on standby on a 24-hour basis to be dispatched in any police region to investigate very serious and complicated cases of murder or other serious offenses. And finally, will supplement deployment with recruits to patrol the streets. Moving now to some of the major successes for the year 2022, we hope some of these individuals are given the oxygen of publicity that they deserve. Here, we have two suspects who are charged in relation to the murder of Mr. Garfield Newton. They are presently on remand. The other slide, on the 9th of March 2002, during a wedding reception, Mr. Chatapal Lakan, he was fatally stopped by the suspects. One of the suspects fled to Suriname, that's Mr. Leon Gonzalez, and based on our cooperation with the authorities in Suriname, they arrested him, and he was handed over to the Guyanese authorities, and he was also charged with murder. This was a very well-publicized case. On the 23rd of May 2002, Mr. Williams and his friend, they were on their way home via taxi and Moore Public Road. When Williams exited the taxi, he was struck down by Mr. Melbourne. Mr. Melbourne promised that he's going to take Williams to the hospital. However, when family members made checks at the hospital, Williams could not be located. Mr. Melbourne was then contacted by the police of Copenhagen, and he gave a false account as to what transpired. Ranks from the Major Crimes Investigation Unit took over the investigation, and then Mr. Melbourne revealed the truth as to what he did. According to Mr. Melbourne, while he was transporting the body, he observed seemed to be motionless, and he discarded that body into a trench at Copenhagen. After the investigation was conducted, the DPP recommended that he be charged with causing death by dangerous driving, along with some other offenses. During the year 2022, we've observed an increase in the amount of fake kidnapping reports. And what is important to note is that when we detect that these reports are false, we usually charge these individuals with giving false information to the police. And the penalty for such an offense is between $15,000 to $30,000 fine. So I'd like to publicly state that we should have a more strict penalty for this type of offense. It's been too prevalent, especially for the year 2022. This young man, he's a former Guyana Police Force rank. He was charged with the murder of Miss Lisa Park. This is an interesting slide also. Between the 29th and the 30th of June 2022, on the 10th of July 2022, police ranks stationed body received information that an aircraft landed here without authorization. Ranks went to the location and they found the two suspects, both the pilot and the co-pilot. One of them is from Brazil, the other one is from Colombia. Ranks conducted a search of the aircraft and found 639 pounds of cocaine and 125 pounds of cannabis. They were charged and placed before the court and they pleaded guilty. Both suspects were sentenced to 4 years, 6 months in prison and a fine of $449 million each. Another success we had is the dismantling of this group. They were involved in abduction and hijacking. Unfortunately, Mr. Andrew Newyear, he was fatally shot by the police during the exchange of gunfire. His colleague Robert Franklin, he was also shot, and he survived, and he, along with his other accomplices, they were charged for these offenses. Here we have a fugitive who is currently wanted in Ecuador. Mr. Stevenson escaped from the authorities in Ecuador and found his way in Guyana. As he was about to board an airplane, ranks from the Guyana Police Force arrested him, and he is currently in prison awaiting extradition. We were able to dismantle the hijacking ring in the year 2022. These suspects, they targeted vehicles along the eastbound carriageway. After the information received, ranks went to one of the suspects' home where they found stolen car parts and subsequently arrested him. Based on foreign information, the other members were arrested. The police conducted a search at the St. Cuthbert's mission along the area where vehicle shells and strip parts were found. Here we are, domestic murder. Mr. Ryan Johnson was charged with murdering his partner, Mr. Armando Sukai. He's presently before the court on remand. He was also remanded to prison. This is another slide. The robbery conducted at the JTV store at the Gayflam Mall. This was publicly ventilated. Two suspects disguised in security uniform entering the Gayflam Mall with their faces covered and robbed the JTV store of a large sum of cash. The men then made good their escape, and the police, based on critical intelligence, were able to apprehend them. Some of the cash was recovered along with the security uniform, which was provided by a former employee. Between the 4th of July 2021 and the 17th of September 2022, a businesswoman contracted some employees to conduct repairs at her home, and they stole a large quantity of raw gold. They sold some of the raw gold, and they purchased those motor vehicles there. Rounds from the Major Crimes Investigation Unit, they conducted the investigation. They were able to recover those vehicles along with $6.3 million cash. These individuals, they were subsequently charged and placed before the court. This slide, depicts two individuals. Mr. Clayton Ali, he's very familiar with Mr. Elliott. He's a regular in the county prison. He established a licensed money lending institution named small fin, money lenders, and financial consultants. And he, along with his colleague, they defrauded persons in excess of $5 million cash and currency. They are presently on remand at Camp Prison. We had the Criterion News robbery that the police successfully solved. On the 10th of October 2022, 3 men exited a Gold's Posse motor car and stormed the Criterion News building. They held the employees at gunpoint and relieved them of their cash and other valuables. They also stole a safe containing a number of ammunition, pistol, and a large quantity of cash. After the information received, Ranks arrested a former employee of Criterion News, and based on further information received, confessed, and we were able to recover the money, the stolen ammunition and firearm, and also recover the illegal firearm that was used during the commission of the crime. Between 26th of October 2022 and the 28th, a plane was parked, in fact, the private jet was parked in the Shenzhen International Airport, and this individual broke into the plane and stole a number of items. Ranks from the Major Crimes Investigation Unit, acting on information received, arrested him, confessed, returned all the stolen items, and he pleaded guilty and was sentenced for 6 months in prison. Police went to the girl settlement in Bordeaux River area to conduct eradication. A total of 15,000 cannabis plants were discovered. Ranks also discovered 1,000 pounds of dried cannabis, 6 shotgun cartridges, and the 3 suspects were arrested and charged with various offenses. And finally, police runs returned to the same developed area sometime later, and they discovered 4 acres of marijuana with about 20,000 cannabis plants. Forest service conducted, and a total of 3 shotguns were recovered, along with a quantity of dried cannabis plants weighing about 400 pounds. The suspect, Richard Barnett, he was arrested and placed before the court. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of my presentation. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Bladon, for a well put together and informative presentation. You see, Mr. Bladon outlined the successes throughout the year thus far and the plans going onwards in the fiscal season and beyond. We will now move into the second presentation, which will be done by Mr. Simon McBean, Assistant Commissioner of Police and Commander of Police Regional Division 4A. And he will be presenting on the Christmas posture for Regional Division 4A for this season and beyond. Let's welcome Mr. McBean.
Thank you, Deputy Commissioner, Administration. Honorable Minister of Home Affairs, Mr. Robson Ben, Commissioner of Police, Mr. Clifton Hicken, Director of Prisons, retired Chief of Staff, retired Commissioner of Police, Mr. Nigel Happy, members of the GCCI, private sector comrades, brothers in law enforcement in the form of security agencies, other ex-police officers, senior and junior officers, and members of our media. Good morning And I'm pleased to be presenting the Regional Divisional Policing Plan for Region 4A for 2022. Now, as we all know, Region 4A encompasses Georgetown, which is our major urban city and our major commercial hub. And as Mr. Branham pointed out, we have the biggest spike on the crime chart. The boundaries of Region 4A, to the north is the Atlantic Ocean, to the south echoes the Brickler by the Arch, to the east Industry Commonwealth Arch, and the west the Demerara River. Now, as indicated before, during our Christmas season, we have an increased commercial activities, and our Christmas policing is designed to capture that period. And our Christmas policing, as you were indicated, commences today and will be concluding on the 15th of January 2023. Our intention is to create a safe environment for businesses, shoppers, and visitors within the region for the Christmas period. Increase foot, bicycle, motorcycle, vehicular, and drone patrol, because we know during this season, activities will heighten, and we are heightening our presence also. Increase traffic patrols, again, Georgetown, synonymous with congestion and traffic issues, hence our increased traffic patrols. And we will work in close collaboration with the City Constabulary, our security agencies, business communities, our CPG groups, etc. We intend to reduce crime, fear of crime, traffic accidents, and congestion during this period. Now, let's look at the risk associated with this period. There is a likelihood of increased crime, traffic accidents, and congestion. Also, there is a likelihood of picnic activities due to the present industrial and political environment. Yes, so we are preparing. These risks cause us to prepare for the activities. Now, to achieve our intention, we will be divided into 15, Georgia will be divided into 15 sectors, consisting of foot, bicycle, vehicle, marine, canine, and mountain patrols. Each sector will be commanded by an officer and inspector, along with adequate ranks. Heightened intelligence-led special operations, and heightened focus on noise nuisance. Also, special emphasis will be paid on all commercial and residential areas. We will also heighten security and management of entertainment and public activities, because we know during this period there will be an increase of our entertainment and public activities, which we are catering for. Work in close collaboration with the City Constabulary, as was indicated, CPG security agencies, and other stakeholders. Publication of safety tips, and we have started this process, and our cooperating with will continue and aid us in this process. And finally, continuous community engagement with our business community, citizens, and other stakeholders. Now let's look at the sectors and what we'll be doing within the sectors to ensure we achieve our plan. Now Sector 1, as the boundaries of Sector 1, to the north is the seawall, South Rock Street, to the east, Camp Street, and to the west, the Demerara River. This sector, our focus areas in this sector are tourism areas such as our hotels. We have the seawall, we have Main Street, Lamar Street, and we know people will visit those areas, congregate in those areas. Our banks, our commercial and residential areas, and not unimportantly, our KPs and VPs. And also our post office. Now, this sector will have booths at the commercial areas such as Water Street and Main Street. We have foot patrols in the form of anti-crime, there's beat patrols. Traffic branch will be conducting their foot patrols, static patrols. We have bicycle patrols will be in that area, anti-crime, and we have our vehicle patrols will consist of motorcycle and four-wheel vehicles, also traffic motorcycles. Sector 2, which is one of our major sectors, and this sector, boundary to the north, Rock Street, Hatfield Strait, to the south, Camp, and the Demerara River. And our focus areas, we have our market, which is the Starbuck Market, commercial areas, banks, bus and car park, and our ferry selling. And this is one of our main the sector which normally have 4 areas focus, and this is the Starbuck Market area. In this sector, we'll have our most police presence in this sector. We have commercial areas, we have our booths will be there, anti-crime patrols in conjunction with the city constabulary within the market. We have our traffic branch will be here on the numbers, bicycle patrols, and we have motor vehicle in the form of motorcycles and vehicle patrols, not forgetting our traffic motorcycles. Sector 3, with our boundaries, Hatfield Street, Princess Street, Camp Street, and the Demerara River. This sector, our main commercial areas, and like the other areas, we'll have foot patrols there, and that is in the Lombard and Hatfield Street area. We have traffic patrols, bicycle in the form of anti-crime patrols in the form of bicycles, and we'll have motor vehicle and traffic motorcycles within that sector also. Sector 4, which is basically more, we have a market, commercial and residential areas, and we have the shipping agencies in that sector. For that sector, we have our foot patrol, and we have anti-crime patrol like the other sectors. We have a joint drilling at the market here with the city constabulary, and we have our vehicle and motorcycle patrols here also. Sector 5, and Sector 5, Middle Street, Meadowbank, Cemetery Road, and Demerara River. This we have the market, and when we talk about the market, this is the Meadowbank, the fish market there, and we have as it is, we have a police boot that is there, and we are having a look into that area, commercial and residential areas, and in this sector we have vehicle and motorcycle patrols. Sector 6. The focus areas for Sector 6 is shopping areas and supermarkets. We have Mandela, New 4-lane road, commercial and residential areas, and we have Darfurs in that area also. That area will have motorcycle and vehicle patrols and traffic patrols also. Sector 7, we focus areas for Sector 7 on markets, commercial and residential areas, and we have traffic patrols, anti-crime in this form of motorcycles and motor vehicles. Sector 8, the boundaries to the north, yes. To the south, Cape View, to the east, Conservancy, and we have Mandela Avenue. This area we have residential and commercial areas, and we have traffic patrols, motorcycle, and vehicle patrols also within that sector. Sector 9, which is another sector that of concern to us, because on Sector 9, to the North Atlantic Ocean, to the south, South Road, Precision Road, and Camp Street. And this area, we have the border market, and we have other commercial and residential areas, such as we have the Regent Street and Rock Street area. This area will have a high police focus during it around this area, region, Alexander Street, Orange Walk, Rock Street, the St. Road, and we have joint beat patrols with the city constabulary at the market, and we'll have anti-crime in the form of motorcycle and vehicle patrols also. Sector 10, South Road in the north, Princess Street to the south, Camp Street to the east, and Precision Road to the west. This area is a commercial hub, commercial and residential area. And we'll have anti-crime patrols in the form of motorcycle and vehicle in that sector. Sector 11, we'll have that boundary Atlantic Ocean, Stretch Canal, the Precision Road, and the Sheriff Street. Sector focus on, we have the market in that area, and we have commercial and residential area. So in this sector, like the others, we'll have new patrols, and we'll have the Kitty Market joint patrols. We have bicycle patrols on Sheriff and Precision Road, and we have motorcycle patrols within this sector. Sector 12, boundaries, Atlantic Ocean, Homestretch Canal, Plum Park, and Sheriff Street. This sector is a commercial and residential area, and we'll have commercial and residential area, and we'll have static patrols in the form of traffic, and we'll have anti-crime patrols, motorcycle and vehicle patrols in that area. Sector 12, Sector 13, sorry. Sector 13, west of a fuse fire, and that goes to the east of Seafuse Fire, to the north Atlantic Ocean, and to the south the Black Bridge. And that area we have Clifton Mall, Movie Town, and commercial and other commercial areas are our focus areas. And we'll be having booths at Clifton Mall, Dennis Street. We have anti-crime and beat patrol in those areas, and we'll also have motorcycle and vehicle patrols. Sector 14, to the north, the Atlantic Ocean, Blacker Bridge, to the east of Beefield, and the west, Beefield Fire. This area is a commercial area, and we have our focal point is Sapphire area also. We have anti-crime patrol in the form of vehicle and motorcycles, and traffic and static patrols also in that area. And finally, Sector 15, which is Sapphire to industry, where our boundary ends, and from the Atlantic to the Black Bridge. And in this area also, it's a commercial area, and we have vehicle and motorcycle patrols within that area. Now, to make this a success, we have employed, or we will be providing 82 patrols within a 24-hour period. Of those patrols, 28 will be foot patrols, 14 bicycle, 14 motorcycle, 26 motor vehicle, and that gives us the total. And also, a total of 251 personnel will be on our streets on a 24-hour period. And that's just for anti-crime, traffic. We'll be having 82 traffic patrols within that period, and we've done 32 foot, 15 motorcycle, 4 cars, and we'll be having 91 personnel or 91 police officers on the road for traffic on a daily basis. Now, just quickly, our crime position within the region, we are presently experiencing a 28% decrease in crime. At the moment, Mr. Lana will give you a detailed presentation on that. Also, Mr. Lana would have stated that each division has their own DBMIU, and based on our sectorial patrol, this is our spatial analysis for our crime within our division. And we see Sector 15, Sector 14, and Sector 11 are the sectors with the prevalent most of our crime. We were able to take off the road this year 24 firearms in comparison to 23 last year. Traffic, we have an increase in traffic accidents for the year. The traffic chief will do his traffic analysis. However, we would have made 3,656 traffic cases for this year as well. Now, I would like to leave you with some crime tips. These crime tips here already been distributed to members of the public. Be alert and aware of your surrounding at all times. This is one thing to shoppers. Carry only what is needed, conceal your valuables, and consider alternative options of payment, which is a wise thing to do during this period. Also for businesses, Mr. Lana would have highlighted one of our problems is the quality of our CCTV. Our CCTV we're getting So install high quality security cameras, don't keep more cash than is necessary on the premises, be security alert at all times. Anything, call 911. We have a system now where if you call 911, that will be relayed to our operations center, and that will be fed via radio to our ranks on beat on the road, so we have a faster response during this period. Avoid being predictable with your marking timings. And finally, for some traffic concerns for us, speeding is still an issue. Driving under the influence of alcohol, especially during this time, people socialize items. Double parking, we all know Georgetown is a congested area, and we double park, we just assist in the congestion. Diagonal parking is also a major sore issue, and obstruction. That's the end of my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Assistant Commissioner Martin, for your presentation. We know that this city of Georgetown is always of interest to everyone, but of course, the other areas in Guyana is our territory as well. And the traffic has always been, every day, a headache compared to us who traverse the road, whether we drive or we are passengers in a vehicle or not. So with that, I will call on Superintendent Stevens to do his presentation on the traffic posture for the entire country for this period. Let's welcome Mr. Stevens.
Thank you, DC Administration. Honorable Minister of Home Affairs, Mr. Rosenberg, Commissioner of Police, Mr. Clifton Hicken, Director of Prisons, Mr. Elliott, Ed Suku, Ed HSP, retired Commissioner of Police, retired Chief of Staff, senior junior officers, member of the business sector, member of the media, present, good morning. I'm representing on the Traffic Department Christmas policing planned for between the period of November 15 to January 15, 2023. The information, the Traffic Department of Guyana Police Force anticipates an increase of vehicle and pedestrian traffic during the upcoming Christmas season. It is common that during this period, that activities within the commercial district in each respective regions increases. Example, Georgetown, New Amsterdam, Rosal, Villeneuve, Perico, Partico, and Andre. In this regard, the Traffic Department plans to heighten the deployment of ramps in an effort to minimize traffic accident, congestion, and other traffic-related occurrences. Our intention to ensure a free flow of traffic, to minimize traffic congestion, to minimize traffic accidents, and to ensure that citizens obey all traffic laws through diligent enforcement countrywide. We also look at our risk. There is a likelihood of increase of traffic accident and traffic congestion throughout Georgetown. Our method, we're looking at a mobile patrol on a 24-hour basis, both vehicle, including motorcycle, car, and crash car. We also will have a 12-hour basic within the shift system of foot patrols. We also deploy deployment of patrols by 24 bases from traffic headquarters, and that will be augment the A division in assist with the regulation of traffic, and including our exercise in DUI, speeding and also other offenses. We also have our traffic awareness with the assistance of the corporate communication unit through also the print media in collaboration with the National Road Safety Council to prepare more awareness to road users as relates to road safety tips. Looking at our figure for the period last year and this year, we would have recorded 83 fatal accidents compared to 80 last year. A 4% increase in accident with a 5% increase in traffic deaths. We also look at deaths. We have recorded 86 last year compared to 90 this year. Number of males last year 71 with 74 this year. As with the female, 50 last year, 60 this year. And with children, we have recorded 3 children would have lost their life. And for this year, 6 children would have lost their life as fatal accidents. Looking at the time period where most of accidents would have occurred, and that would have recorded between the period of 18 hours to 23:59 hours. That is when most of accidents would have occurred. Looking at the days of the week, we have recorded that during the Monday morning, between midnight to 10 a.m. in the morning, that's where most of accidents would have occurred. We will also analyze the traffic accidents during the period, and we will acknowledge that between the period of the 15th of January last year to the 5th of January this year, the traffic department will have recorded 11 fatal accidents with 17 deaths, and they include 16 male and 1 female. And therefore, we will acknowledge that during the period that most of accidents will occur. However, we will also acknowledge that speeding, inattentiveness would have been the most contributing factor towards an accident, and also drivers and pedestrians would have been the leading cause of accident. And more so, in fact, for this year, pedestrians would have been the most vulnerable group who would have died as a result of accident during this period. We also look at our prevalent cases. We were recording for this year 9,206 speeding cases. We were recording cell phone 459, breach condition of road service license 1,932, driving under the influence of alcohol. We would have made 645 cases, tinted motor vehicle 821 cases we have made. 3,821 cases. Breaching traffic light signals, that persons who would have breached traffic lights, 1,023 cases. And drive private motor vehicle, driving using motor vehicle and its purpose or private 412 cases we have recorded. A total of 42,195 cases we have recorded. We also would have executed warrants through the period for this year, and we will execute 256 traffic warrants. We would have executed with an amount of 2,976,445 amounts we would have executed in the form of our warrant drives. This work was policing for the period. And we looking at the deployment of grants, audit supervision of sovereign officer, each unit and their mobile staff, grants will be deployed in different sectors. And in the latter of the presentation, I will demonstrate and show you our sectors where it is as demonstrated. We're looking at our patrol or motorcycle patrol, and also car patrol. We also use ranks from the various offices, example, certain offices, and the top headquarters. We're able to deploy at these various locations in assist, with the purpose of assisting the dam traffic department. We also will have officers and inspectors who will be a part assisting and guiding ranks, and also a part of the sector, and being the person in charge of the sector, as we go later in the presentation. We look at our mobile patrol, ranks on motorcycle patrol in car will be posted to perform duty at the various points within the period from 6:45 in the morning to 15 hours in the afternoon, and from 14:45 hours to 23 hours. 22:45 hours to 45 hours to 7 hours in the morning on a 24-hour basis. We have our patrols in around Georgetown. Crash truck patrol in Georgetown and the environment. That means the whole of Georgetown area. We have crash truck patrols. Also, we use reclams to causing obstruction, and we also look at illegal parking. Our patrols rapidly deployed on a co-ship system at the various locations between the period of 6:45 hours to 11 hours in the morning, 12:45 to 15 hours, 14:45 to 19 hours, and 18:45 to 20 hours. And rank will be deployed in each sector, originally in charge by a sergeant of police. Ranks from truck headquarters also be able to be placed at those various locations in an effort to assist in the foot patrol, as what I've mentioned. Georgetown area will be divided into sectors and boundaries. And we divided in sector 1, we mentioned south of Artillery Street, north George Street, east Abdomen Republic, and south and west, Water Street. That will be our sector 1, sector 2, south Artillery Street, north George Street, west Abdomen Republic, and east Camp Street. Sector 3, south Artillery Street, north George Street, west Camp Street, and east Vicinity Road. Sector 4, south Artillery Street, north Carifesta Avenue, west Vicinity Road, and east Sherry Street. And sector 5, south George Street, north Seawall Road, west Water Street, and east Vicinity Road. This is the diagram as it relates to the sector. The diagram continues sector 5 and sector 4 and sector 5. The ranks will be placed at fixed point, and we're looking at specific area whereby there will be traffic congestion, and ranks will have to engage the traffic when it's so necessary. And we're looking at Region and King Street, Rob and King Street, Avenue, Region Avenue Republic, Crown and Avenue Republic, Breakdown and Avenue Republic, Lombard and Artillery Street, Cornell and Breakdown, Rob and Avenue Republic, Camp and Regent Street, Rob and Camp Street, North Road and Camp Street, Alexander and Regent Street, Cummins and Regent Street, Alport and Regent Street. Those are where will be traffic congestion as anticipated. So ranks will be deployed here to engage the traffic when so desired. Fixed point continue, we're also looking at the east bank of the Aurora, ranks will be placed on the east bank corridor, and we're looking at DSL, the traffic lights, Duga Full entrance, the Delaware Arbor Bridge, and the Suicide Junction. We also ranks will be placed there in an effort to engage the traffic when so necessary. On the East Coast corridor, we're looking at Pleasance Market and Moripo Market. On the West Coast of Delaware,
we're looking at Vedu Junction and a Katrina, one is selected. We're requiring blocks to be placed there to engage traffic if so necessary. On the east bank of Essequibo, correction, west bank of Demerara, west coast of Demerara, we're looking at Schoonard and the western end of the Demerara Bridge, and also Lagrange. And on the east bank of Essequibo, we're looking at Tushin, Car Park, Corita Junction, Market area. We're routes to be placed there to engage traffic if so desired. The Lena Suza Junction in Borbis also, we're looking at Rosa Township and New Amsterdam. And in Essequibo, we're looking at Anaregina, Charity, and Supuna. Routes to be placed there to engage traffic and give direction if so desired. Special arrangement for Region 4A, that's in Georgian area. We're looking at, for Rob Street, no entry for vehicle traffic going east between Alexander and Border Street. That is only for pedestrian only. No vehicle are allowed to proceed here. We also look at Border Street, no entry for vehicle traffic between the region and North Road. Also, we have special emphasis will be placed at the International Airport, ramps will be placed there to guide and direct traffic in case of any street appearances. And on the Suicide Junction, we have a restriction currently with motor lorries which are between the period of 7 in the morning to 9. We replace it to avoid the congestion on the eastbound corridor. And we have an escort taken down to Grove to an effort to avoid any traffic accidents at that period. So that will be also continuous course of the holiday. We're also looking at the 2 lanes of traffic traversing on the Demerara Bridge between the period of 6 a.m. and also at 16 hours in the afternoon. We are currently working along with the Bridge Authority to flex in case anything there's a need arise, if there's a breakup of traffic on the eastbound corridor. We're able to engage the Bridge Authority and have that third lane to proceed west onto the Demerara Bridge. So the diagram would have mentioned about the no entry for the we also looking at the area of concern within Georgian area. We're looking at Regent Street, Rock Street, Champ Street, Water Street, Border Market, Starbuck Market area, Lombard Street, the Station Road, Omshas Avenue, Main Street, and Sheriff Street. Those are areas of our concerns, and we have plans there also patrolled to address the traffic situation in case of any need. We have our special arrangement in Region 4, in Region 3, and this is between for Christmas Eve Day and also on Old Year's Day. Vehicle traffic proceeding south from Perica Stelling will proceed east onto Perica Hall Road and ends onto the public road. And also we look at the Venus Stelling area, proceed east on the Venus Stelling area. We restrict it, and that will depend on the congestion of that area during that period. That will be on the Christmas Eve Day and Old Year's Day. And the diagram will demonstrate the direction. We also look at special arrangement for Region 5. Vehicle traffic proceeding south onto Rosemount Public Road will be diverted onto Bennett Street, continue south onto North School Street, ends west into Border Drive. And that's for the period on both days, Christmas Eve Day on the 24th, and on New Year's Day, the 31st of December. The diagram demonstrates also look at Region 6, between the set period on the set days, road closure on Main Street Yopsland between Commerce Street and Alexander Street. Vehicle traffic proceeding east will be diverted north into Rosal. This is speaking on the quarantine area, the Rosal district. And vehicle proceeding west will be diverted south in the Jameson School Street. Independence Street will be closed for vehicle traffic proceeding north. That's on the quarantine area. We also look at the asphalt. Ross Public Road, Bushlat, New Road Esquimo, that's in Region 2. Camino, that's Region 4, that's up in Region 4B. Mandela Avenue, Detention, West Coast of Delaware. And Wallace Lake also West Coast of Delaware. Those are our spots, and we also having enforcement, constant enforcement within that area. Our enforcement, we especially focus on enforcement, and we're looking at driving under the influence of alcohol, speeding, overloading the bus and a car, motor vehicle cause obstruction, citizen of passengers, and also we will continue on our warning charge. In an effort for this, the traffic department comes into reality. During the period, the traffic department will have engaged the corporate communication unit with guidance of the commissioner to have infomercial and flyers replaced. The infomercial replaced on the digital board indicate traffic tips for all road users as to use the road safely. And also it is advised that business owners are advised to offload the container at the terminal and then transport the goods using lorries or cattle in a vicinity to ease congestion around Georgian area. And this is because it is expected and anticipated that there will be a large amount of traffic, vehicle traffic between the Georgian area, which is advisable that business community use or discharge their container at the terminal to be able to ease the traffic congestion within that period. This is my conclusion. The Guyana Police Force Department, in anticipation of the increase of activity during the Christmas season, will utilize all resources available to monitor and control traffic situation. Traffic enforcement and education are paramount in our plan to reduce accidents during this season, make it our road safer for all categories of road users. Thank you.
Thank you, Traffic Officer. That brings us to the end of 3 presentations. We've had 2 single focus, one dealing with crime, the other with traffic, and one cross-cutting. Commander 4A, who dealt with his crime, traffic, and anti-crime posture for Regional Division 4A. We will now open the floor to questions from persons present here today. To the 3 presenters, Mr. Brown, DCLE, and Mrs. McQueen, Commander 4A, and Mr. Stevens, the traffic officers. So the floor is now open for questions.
I have a suggestion, not a question. If that is allowed. To Mr. Stevens, you have a hard job, sir. But I need you to advise your ranks to save some time and money to issue, take information from the delinquent drivers and proceed by summons instead of moving a family of 5, 6 on a police station to just institute a charge. Proceed by summons is all well and good.
Do you have any other questions or suggestions from the floor? It appears that representations were
They got the pluses.
Alright, Mr. Bob, the child from which were the highest what is the reason for this? Also, you addressed the lack of access to DNA testing. How did this conflict work? Of the force of what are you hoping to materialize this?
Let me deal with the last question first. The lack of capacity to conduct DNA testing indeed is affecting us. Many of the cases are before the courts, and there is a huge backlog. It is quite expensive to send these samples overseas. We were able to get some to allow in Miami recently, but we still have a backlog, and we're hoping that that situation can be resolved as early as possible. The first question, the high rate of recidivism. I don't know if any study was conducted, and what I can tell you is that some of the individuals whom we had interacted with, they would have mentioned a number of factors which would have caused them to live a life of crime. Some of them indicated that because they have criminal records, they were unable to receive employment. That some, especially the security agency, and rightfully so, they're asking them to produce a police clearance. And of course, when they produce a police clearance, the conviction is there. Some also reported to us that they have many persons who rely on them financially, and it's very difficult for them to provide, so they have to live a life of crime. And there are many other factors which are not in this point.
Yes, also a colleague's question. When you say backlog, can you give like a ballpark figure of how many we're looking at?
In excess of 20 cases.
20 cases. And these cases span from like 2015, 2020?
I don't have the year at my disposal, but the backlog has been for some time.
Question. What is the force doing holistically to address this particular issue? This trying to seem like a lot.
I'll address that when I'm by the microphone.
Yeah, sure.
Afterward.
Well, there's a big one as I said before, some of these samples were already sent for analysis in Miami. I think there's a rehabilitation program that is conducted by the Guyana Police Force. I cannot speak about that. You can ask Mr. Lee when we complete our presentation.
Thank you for your questions. And of course, your valuable suggestion, Mr. Hopkins. Indeed, that is something that the Commission has spoken to not so long ago. You know, he's passionate about partnerships. Of course, focusing on the relationship between the police and members of the public. And one of the issues that came up was the same traffic stops and the inconvenience it caused to the traveling public for traffic offense, when there are many other avenues under the law that we can pursue to address traffic violations on our road. Many things are happening in the Guyana Police Force and current activities. What you heard just now was the three critical or focus areas. However, the Commissioner of Police will give a better appreciation of activities, initiatives that are occurring within the Guyana Police Force as we go about forming a strategic plan to do modernization and police reform. Without further ado, I will invite now to do his presentation, Mr. Clifton Hicken, our acting Commissioner of Police, a very dynamic personality, and of course, at the end of which, while the program doesn't cater for written here for questions, of course, we know that is something that is practiced. So it's not that we forgot it, but it is something that is already understood, and afterwards, the Commissioner for this question. Let's welcome Commissioner, please.
Good morning. Thank you, Chairperson. A warm welcome. Minister of Home Affairs, Mr. Roxanne Ben, and I ask the permission now to stand on the established protocols, and so we can move on. I want to start by saying thank you for coming. Without you, this would not have been possible. And so I think the presenters deserve a round of applause. And so you deserve a round of applause for being here with us. So we can do that together. All right. It's customary that we plan during the year so we can have a Christmas poster to present in keeping with the activities that lead up to the Christmas season and what is expected after the Christmas season. As a National Police Force, we have a responsibility, but our responsibility is not in isolation, and so the strategic pillar, partnership. Before I get into that, I would like to remind all of us that we're just out of COVID, and it's expected that we have activities where we're going to have mass gatherings, where we're going to have social activities. That is going to be more prevalent than other years. And so, being cognizant of that as a Guyana Police Force, we've prepared to deal with those eventualities. And so, the presentations were done. We were all here, we learned, and it was more evidence-based. And so I'm happy that it was clear to all and much questions coming to the presenters. Again, we had a shift in that in terms of numbers. But suffice to say, the Guyana Police Force plan must work in collaboration with other agencies. And so I want to start with the traffic. Despite we have our traffic management, despite development in terms of access roads and more 4-lane highways, and of course, opening the front area, we're joining roads together, we still have traffic management issues to deal with. And if we are operating in isolation, we're going to have problems. And so we've established a relationship with Public Works, and that's to ensure that if there's any heavy truck that is broken down along the corridor, we can make a call, and so there's an SOP to deal with that. We've managed to partner with the MRR bridge management, and so if we overwhelm it, vehicle traffic, we can at least coordinate the activities so that we can have the opening and bridge or the doubling to exist more than the period that is stipulated. In addition to that, we've partnered with Mara too, and so if there's a mishap on the river, there's an SOP, and so there will always be response to these things. And so we are going to augment traffic from headquarters, and so you're going to see policemen and women in the white sleeves. I know our minister always emphasized the point that traffic ramps must be visible, must be neat, must be gorgeous, but must be professional, and we're trying to achieve that during our posture. But you're going to see traffic management done different than what we would normally do. And so, Mr. Hopkinson, you hit the point home. We're now going to empty a minibus to convenient 15 passengers to deal with one driver. No, it's not going to happen under my command. And so, if we're to deal with the minibus driver, that will be after you would have dropped off the passengers to the safe place on board. The second thing is we are going to stop 2-3 vehicles in one long line to deal with errand drivers. There are other methodologies we're going to use in terms of ticketing, and once you hit it right home. I had a meeting recently with the performance group, and that is my focus. We're going to do everything in our power as a contemporary police force under my command to mitigate against conflict with members of the public. Instead of doing that, we're going to create an atmosphere where the public and our stakeholders can come and work in conjunction with the police. Commander's SOP is necessary and it will be enforced. We have unlimited migration across the regions, and so if there is an incident in Region 4, you know you can have easy access to Region 3 via bridge. So there's an SOP for that with Commander. There's an SOP for the East Coast. And so all the commanders can be informed through our force control, where information can be disseminated very swiftly. And so roadblock is a part of our Christmas posture. Enforcement patrols will always be part of our Christmas posture. Enforcement in traffic will be part of our Christmas posture. So it is expected that you listening, we're working so hard to ensure that we have safe communities, you support us. And don't just support us by saying you're going to support us. We'd like to have your unwavering support 100%, and that is going to ensure the police perform at its optimum, and you are safe the way you ought to be based on our process police force. For us to maintain and improve on what you have seen as a professional organization that is, we continue to build on our strategic plan and this under the operational priority, where we're seeking ways and methods to ensure we reduce crime and we harness the whole notion of traffic management in a positive way. But developing our people is necessary for continuity and for contemporary policing. And so it will be remiss of me not to remind you that we just had 4 new minted lawyers into the Guyana Police Force, and so you can clap for that. Yeah, this does not. And so this helps us now to be more advanced in terms of our case preparation and less conflict in terms of charges for members of the public who have committed themselves. Suffice to say that we have people studying in India, we have people studying in Russia. Why am I telling you all of this? Because this is necessary if we are to meet the demands of here in contemporary period. And so we would have formed under the partnership a community relations department headed by the superintendent of police. Why we've done that, and how is this relevant to Christmas policing? Because in a structured way, we're going to go into the communities or continue to be in the communities through the festive season. We are going to enjoy some of the festivities with the youths and the vulnerable. Of course, that by itself will bring trust or build on the trust we already have, because parents are trusting the children to do the police, and we're going to build momentum in that regard. But more importantly, the commanders, the commissioner, the ELT, meaning deputy commissioners, we are going to be in a commercial house, we are going to be in the communities, and we are going to lead the way. And so, interacting in various communities, we are going to help to give crime tips and try to mitigate against community pressure in a unlawful way or in a bad setting. And so it's imperative that we continue. But more importantly, we have in on-stream advanced stage of completion a community relation foundation to be launched, and that will be launched before the festive season is over. Why are we doing that? And that is to have a more structured and a data-driven arrangement in terms of how we train youths from the vulnerable community and how we integrate them. And so our analysis over here will be a moving from police force to a more police service-oriented organization. But for this to be achieved, we have to reach international best practices in terms of our college. And so we've achieved academy status. And so that was done recently, and of course by the Accreditation Council, and in fact on the 21st of September, we were registered and accredited through the Accreditation Council. What that tells us, that every recruit that will be passing out of the training school will have a certificate accredited. And so of course the level of instructions, the level of training automatically will go beyond the standard radio field training. In fact, in an effort to achieve that, our officers, of course, with the requisite qualification, they're lecturing to university graduates at the master's level. And they have to be retrained as trainers to meet that level of academy. And so, yes, I'm saying this so that you can know we have a foundation in the Guyana Police Force of continuity. And so we don't expect the force to be tarnished by one or two errant policemen. Generally, or women, generally, the force want to remain professional in that regard. And I want to use this opportunity to remind all, as we go into the festive season, the police force is guided by policies, rules, regulations, laws. And we should not paint the entire police force in a negative light whenever one police commits suicide. And so I'm going to emphasize this every opportunity I have to speak with the public. Rules and regulations must be followed. Of course, errant policemen will be treated with accordingly. But more importantly, we will have to, as a part of our accreditation, realize the Disciplined Forces Commission's report. This, of course, was the report is completed in 2007. This was presented to an assembly, this National Assembly. It was adopted under Resolution 33, and so we're in the process of changing the Felix Austin Police College to the Police Academy, as was recommended. And for a matter of research, I'm going to repeat this. It's 2007, the final report of the Discipline Commissioners. Report was submitted, and it was adopted in the National Assembly under Resolution 33. Why am I saying this? Because we were in the preparatory stage of complying with what is required if we to maintain our academy status. And so I'm bringing this to the fore again because this will be done before the conclusion of the festive season. And so next year, after the Christmas policing will have concluded, our trajectory in terms of developing policemen and women to meet contemporary demands will be our main focus in that regard. After the Christmas policing, I noted concern when the traffic officer spoke to the containers. That's the normal team, and my colleague from GCCI. You raised and you looked at me. But that is a proposal. In essence, what we're going to do is to continue work with the stakeholders in a structured way, like we did last year. And we're going to provide experts, and so that you're now going to be among the congested areas, and so we can move you swiftly from point A to point B. It worked last year. Every year comes with its own challenges. And so we remain flexible, and so of course you have access to the commissioner you have access to all the deputy commissioners, traffic officers, and the commanding division, which is critical to your movement as members of the private sector. Of course, we're to do a presentation to the private sector, and we're to have our normal yearly interaction prior to the festive season. Visibility is a preventative measure we use it, or a methodology to prevent conflict and to mitigate against lawlessness. And so, members of the public, and of course, our media representative here, you're going to help in this regard. Please let the public know that compliance is very, very important during this season. Responsible behavior is necessary. We're going to do as far as we can do to ensure we remain, in fact, we have to remain professional, at least under my stewardship, and it's only fitting that the public reciprocate and be respectful to the police, because we're going to work 24 hours to ensure that you are safe as a citizen. Our main stakeholders in terms of our crime fighting posture, and I'm referring to the CPGs, I'm referring to the RCs and neighborhoods, and very importantly, the private security services. We've established our relationship over the years, and we've been building capacity in that regard. And so, our crime fighting posture will entail visibility not only from the police, but from the CPG and the private security setting. And so when they're not on patrol, they must enhance, and that is part of our agreement, they must enhance the visits to the areas where they have standing guards. And so by doing that, we will have a multiplicity of vehicles deriving from a security posture. We're going to have private security posture, and it's going to be visible because of the amount of visits that are going to be done, that are going to be done to locations. We're going to have police vehicles, we're going to have police on foot, we're going to have supervision. And that is decentralized too for the purpose of management. And so, we have a perfect plan. And if you support this plan, you're going to benefit as our objective, because you are the beneficiaries of all that we are putting in place now to ensure you have a festive season. The private sector. You have a corporate responsibility to ensure you give back to the community or the communities. And so, based on our posture and based on what is expected coming out of the Community Relations Foundation, of course, it is governed by a constitution and civilian board of civilian who will be in control, 13 of them. And so, we're going to approach you as we enter these communities, and so we can bring some degree of cheer and joy to the less fortunate. And so I'm putting you on notice. KPs and VPs is necessary. They will always be necessary for us to maintain. And so, like the presentations before, we're going to ensure that we pay keen attention to those areas. Joint services approach. We're not going to work in isolation of the joint services. That is very critical. And so we're going to work in conjunction with the Guyana Defense Force to deal with our borders. We're going to work in conjunction with the Guyana Defense Force and the Guyana Prison Service to ensure that we secure our prison facilities. And we're going to work with our joint services posture again in terms of fire to ensure that if there is any fire, the police support to ensure that the fire can operate in this space. I remember the Chief Force, Mr. Brutus, said I'm going to do a presentation. He was telling me something indirectly. Keep it simple and keep it short. You know, whenever we give somebody that's now in charge of they speak from now until next year. What I want to close off by saying to you, you are our greatest stakeholders. And you will realize to serve. The Guyana Police Force is not bereft of ideas. And so we're building capacity so we can sustain what we have and to improve. And so if you're our stakeholders, we want you to be cognizant of the fact that when you're at work, we're at work. When you're sleeping, we're still at work. And the least you can do is to give us 100% support so we can adequately create a safer communities so that you can enjoy. For the Christmas season, I know you're going to indulge responsibly. while there is no conflict resolution, there is compromise, we can de-escalate the situation before it gets out of hand. I want to remind you about this. As I was growing up, it took a village to raise a child. In fact, we used to be schooled by anyone with elders around, and many complained we schooled again at home. Formal punishment is no longer the thing of the day. Of course, evolution is taking place. But at least the communities can avoid any escalation of any conflict by stepping into the bud and not supporting conflict. And that is all we ask of you, members of the public. We ask you to continue to be our partners. We ask you to continue to be our friends. The Guyana Police Force is gradually changing to Guyana Police Service. We will benefit immensely. Support us, have a festive season, and may God bless you all.
Thank you, Commissioner of Police. Commissioner did a lot of important things and issues here today. He did mention, of course, academy status for our college, our training facility, partnership, which is critical for us in our job as law enforcement individuals. We cannot let ourselves perform